offended, it's often admitted I'm all independent. I irritate those awfully wicked. Wait, pause for a minute. Bryson, why you causing division? I loved your music, now you're homophobic, all for attention. They say I'm only popular because I'm controversial. But is it that your favorite rappers all with pop commercial? Y'all got Spotify to ban my songs, I guess my topics hurt you. And do y'all miss real hip-hop because this the time reversal? The baby can promote violence and drugs all on his CD, but he'll get canceled if he ever offends LGBT. I know everybody hates me, but I also know they need me. But they cancel me because I don't succumb my freedoms freely. And hip-hop wasn't always like this, bruh, believe me. Now rappers wearing dresses and calling each other sweetie. Well, somebody gotta say it, huh? Why can't it be me? Can I say screw Dr. Fauci? Can I say screw the CDC? Hey, uh-oh, Bryson, tone it down. You know we need your voice. God of the world, well, that's an easy choice. Who has time for some white guy in a BLM face mask? Playing my music, screaming everything that I say is bad. I can't bow down to the mob cause I'm too real. I can't be controlled cause I don't need a deal. They say you going way too far, you need to chill. Sorry, I don't really care about how you feel. Ay, I can't bow down to the mob cause I'm too real. I can't be controlled cause I don't need a deal. They say you going way too far, you need to chill. Ay, sorry, I don't really care about how you feel.
I resurfaced on purpose, I'm Houdini. Now I ain't going nowhere like I'm Tim Pool's beanie. I got permanent sermons and words that can burn through a genie. I could perfectly search for the surface and fly like an eagle, praise Jesus. Your favorite rapper is satanic, great panic in the place. It ain't safe to be straight magic. Play patterns in your face till your brain scrambles from bass samples. Can't handle the heat, then get away from the flame candles. Don't quote this song, just say a prayer to the Holy Cross. I flip like motocross cause the news is faker than Photoshop. My flow is cold and hot, it's like Noah's Ark next to molten rock. So when I'm focused on being close to God, I can open locks. Big Pharma must be lobbying rappers cause they be telling you to get injections, partying after. Kids are dying from the fentanyl while popping the Xanax. And I don't want our friends to die, but that be part of this chapter. That's why I flip the script, hit the drip, get a grip, sedative, chill. Drink water, think smarter, ink artists sit on the quill. They want black to keep the cycle on and white, they hate themselves. So can't you tell they want us all in camps and both to stay in jail? Don't let us fail.
I can't bow down to the mob cause I'm too real. I can't be controlled cause I don't need a deal. They say you going way too far, you need to chill. Sorry, I don't really care about how you feel. Ay, I can't bow down to the mob cause I'm too real. I can't be controlled cause I don't need a deal. They say you going way too far, you need to chill. Ay, sorry, I don't really care about how you feel.
They gon' hate me for this one. Hashtag facts are racist. R.I.P. mom, you the greatest. Raised up a king and they hate it. Everyone mind about races when they're not the biggest problem we facing. Take a real look at the nation. Sick of motherhood inflation. Whipping your boys, I saw jumping a lady. She only 15, left her bloody and shaking. They wasn't wearing no rags. Nobody waving no flags. You ain't even gotta ask. It's black on black on black on blacks. Everybody wanna play victim. Blame everything on the system. Be a sad day when it hit them. Life could've been different if you would've listened to the information that we spit. Take it, keep it, chew it for a bit. Hold your head up, brother, never quit. Self-accountability, that's it. That'll get you all to the top. Then you really ball till you drop. Economic growth, man, I'm here to stir the pot. Say you wanna hear the truth, so I put it in the beat. Changing the culture every day of the week. Right now it's more like a vulture. Only prey on the weak, but we are here to expose ya. Going down as I speak. No excuses, can't refuse this honesty that we seek. Y'all be like, facts are racist. Why I say this? You know it's true. Y'all just hate it. Facts are racist. Why I say this? You know it's true. Y'all just hate it.
13-year-old girl twerking on TikTok. You saying he just wanna learn how to crip walk. If you ain't talking about sex, then kick rocks. All they care about the chains and the wristwatch, they gotta change. This is something only God can change. Don't get mad at me when I complain about how 4 and 5 black women are beasts. Half of the murders us killing in the streets. Almost half of abortions too. This is a rap verse, but this is a warning too. They go against God like it's nothing more to do. But y'all don't care, y'all just really want abortions new. Wanna gang bang, do drugs, wish drugs all above. Sell drugs till you in the jail cell, not a club. Now another single mother, cause we lost another brother. Sold to one undercover, kids gotta raise each other. This what you want for the future? Or are you trying to look cool on computers? Claim you a king, but blame the white man. When something bad happens, you feel like a loser. And keep voting the same way. Why? Cause your parents did it too. Truth is your parents are ignorant too, and politicians know it, so now they got you.
We changing the culture every day of the week. Right now it's more like a vulture. Only prey on the weak, but we are here to expose ya. Going down as I speak. No excuses, can't refuse this honesty that we seek. Y'all be like, facts are racist. Why I say this? You know it's true. Y'all just hate it. Facts are racist. Why I say this? You know it's true. Y'all just hate it.
Yo. What's good? Had some technical difficulties, but I'm here. We are in a holding pattern, and it will be delayed. Of course, as always, I will appreciate if there's any audio problems to let me know. We moved on from monsters to a more sophisticated double expresso. Let's go. Let's get it today. Double shot, straight. Let's get hype. I don't like the defensive position that we are in right now. And what I'm talking about is the grandpappy indictment. We are at the whim of the same people who are basically manipulating and controlling everything that we damn near see and do in this world. And they're delaying it one more day. But so I don't like that we're in a defensive position, but the mood is, I think, defiant. The mood is peaceful but defiant in my eyes. Thanks for joining. Got a bunch of various topics to go over. I'm going to go DEF-CON politically, figuratively. I'm going DEF-CON on politically black women. It's gotten the attention that we've seen there, that for me has gotten worse. It's almost like I'm seeing more and more, and I'm like, wow, I don't know why I never addressed this topic before. So that might come up in the live. But many other things. Hopefully poop is not a topic. Hopefully we stay away from human feces in this live, like Hillary Clinton and Chelsea were dodging the other day. And we just have some fun, hang out. I don't know how long. I might just go for an hour. We'll see. Till noon or so. I'm going to do a quick sound check, and we're going to get into it. I think I like how the sound is going. Let's do a quick check of like who's representing already up in the chat. I don't have my glasses, so if I'm squinting, then I am an idiot, but that's why I even look more like an idiot. Good morning, Squirrel 1300, Toy Mafia, what's good? The Squirrel 1300 said, I'm feeling your thumbnail. We're going to be like a bunch of Fonzies, super chill. I like that. And shout out to Ramble Rants. I'm telling you, man, I keep talking about these memesters. The DeSantis supporters, and I hate this because you never heard me really have any type of beef with DeSantis until he started putting his toe in the national waters. But I tried to tell him not to. We tried to tell him not to. We tried to warn him what was going to happen. Didn't we? And he didn't listen. So now I want to keep it just on the national level. I think he's been great for Florida. But you're going to get politically wrecked. And that's what's going to happen. We told you it was going to happen. You just didn't listen. You're off there listening to some business consultant, and you could have got free information on YouTube. Not that I'm always right or the YouTubers are always right, but what do you want me to say in this case? You could have got some better, no cost at all, other than the time it takes to find somebody you resonate with. You could have listened to Milo. You could have listened to anybody from the chat here. We told you to wait. We told you the only opportunity for 2024 is if you put on the knee pads, got down below before Grandpappy and said, I'll be your VP. And that would have been the smarter play. Your ego, whatever it is, got so big, you had to go do this. We haven't even gotten started yet. You're getting wrecked. So just don't even announce. But I was chatting with, well, not chatting, I replied under Ramble Rants, and I was like, I would rather be on the bad side of Hillary C than the memesters. Because at least with Hillary C, she hires that hitman, allegedly, and then boom, you get into the car accident, turbulence happens. It's pretty quick and easy. With the memesters, you got to go that slow way. The memesters keep you alive. They want you to see these jokes. And it's almost like you're in a chair, hands tied behind your back, and you just see yourself getting clowned day after day after day. I would rather mess with Nancy P, George S, Hillary C, Billy G, and they go higher and do whatever they do, and you have an accident, a gas accident in your house or whatever, and it's over. But with the memesters, they keep your eyes open, and you're going to get these jokes, and there's nothing you can do about it. They don't even really the ones I know don't even really make that much money off of it other than their own edification of seeing you get clowned. And that's what's happening to DeSantis. I'm sorry I didn't explain it to you well enough. I'm sorry that I didn't articulate myself. I'm sorry that you didn't listen. That was a choice that you decided to make. And what we're talking about is that battle's heating up with DeSantis versus Trump, and it ain't even started yet. Donald Trump talking about allegations of men and women. Like, I don't know. I'm not even getting into that, but I'm just saying Trump's taking it there, and we knew it was going to go there. We tried to tell you it was going to go there, and they released some, there's a poll out there. I really caution everybody to just be careful of these polls. I caution myself included, because I like talking about the polls too, and I'm cautioning everyone in part to caution myself, especially after the midterms. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for falling for the over manipulation or the over kind of weighing the evidence of the polls. I don't want to do that. But they didn't seem too happy on Fox News today. This morning. It didn't feel like they had that energy that they usually do. Fox News has turned into the DeSantis 2024 campaign network. If you didn't know that, that's what they are outside of Tucker. Got a follow up on that story about Tucker saying that he hated Trump. Got to follow up on that one. Maybe I'll do it after this. But here we go. Here's the mood on Fox News.
Right, but then maybe Atlanta comes forward, or maybe the Mar-a-Lago case goes forward, or what they're doing in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. Right now, Donald Trump is dominating the news cycle. According to the New York Post, he's loving it at Mar-a-Lago. He's saying hello to everyone, feeling like he's on top of the world, looking forward to it because he sees the numbers. Maybe he saw the Morning Consult poll, which has him on top of Ron DeSantis, 54-26. But he also should know, too, at a similar time when Obama was running against Hillary.
Wait, what was that poll again? So you saw how quickly they went from, well, basically Trump's beating his ass in the polls for whatever that means. But look how quickly they went from, oh, well, but that doesn't mean too much.
Similar time when Obama was running against Hillary Clinton. She also had a 20-point lead, a similar time to in 2016.
Fox is just they've just completely taken off all the garb, the superhero costume or whatever, the mask, and they are what they are. They are a pro-DeSantis, anti-Trump network for the most part.
26, but he also should know, too, at a similar time when Obama was running against Hillary Clinton. She also had a 20-point lead, a similar time to in 2016. Jeb Bush and Governor Walker were in the lead.
And that stuff, that's all, don't get me wrong, that's worth mentioning, that what do the polls mean at this time? But it almost felt like a funeral. That was their morning show. They're usually more, giddy than that. They weren't too giddy to see the polling. I think what happened is, Jack Posovic tweeted it today, is I think that there were, and let me give you the take after I remember I had a take. I didn't tweet it. Let me go to the Jack Posovic tweet if I can find it, but I don't need it. Jack said something to the effect of, it seems like some people got this information from their consultants or somewhere else that the indictments and then the potential arrest, whether he's in handcuffs or not, I don't know what the logistics of that are going to look like. That's going to be crazy. I hope I'm able to go live when that happens. Thursday through Tuesday, I won't be able to do probably any lives at all. Maybe I will from a different location, but I don't know what the logistics of that are going to be, but it seems like some people might have been advised, or they might be going into it just in case Pappy gets arrested, handcuffs, they're all happy about it, and that might pave the way for somebody like DeSantis. And I don't know the answer to that, but my take is from all of that is DeSantis is backed by some very powerful people, and they might know something we don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. That's pure speculation, but it feels like to me, the way that DeSantis is acting, the way that he's talking in these interviews, it's almost as if he knows that Trump is going to be out of the way somehow. I don't know how that would be. Again, that's just in my head because nothing else makes sense. DeSantis is much smarter than me. He's much more politically savvy. Like, why would he be saying the type of things he is? How would he win over any type of MAGA or Trump supporter with the approach that he's taking? It wouldn't make any other sense. And remember, even though I was wrong about the midterms, I will say, if you listen to the channel before leading up to the midterm, I didn't want to make it negative, so I kind of stopped it before the midterms. But I was bringing up Democrats are acting like they know something we don't know. And I think that was the FTX scandal. They knew the money was going to come through. They knew what they were going to do. They knew that they had the ballot harvesting and all that type of stuff. Whether it was legal or not, if they have a friendly AG who wouldn't prosecute it, it's legal. So don't even look at, well, ballot harvesting is legal in 26 states or 25 states. It's really how many states have a state attorney general who would prosecute the crimes of ballot harvesting. It's probably 10 or less states that have that. So it's really legal in 40 states probably, or I haven't looked at the exact numbers, maybe even more. And so they knew what they were going to do. They're ahead of the curve. They had the BLM and the pandemic and all that. Midterms, they had the FTX. And who knows what they're going to have for 2024. This indictment isn't even it. This is just a prelude. They save it for the year, that election year. So we'll see it definitely in the summer, whatever it is, because that's when you're registering people to vote and it'll pop off. They did it with the pandemic and changing the laws. Oh, what's good? Thanks for stopping by. Big BS. Gonna split the vote and blue wins again. Yeah, I wonder if that's a fair question to wonder if I don't understand his strategy. Is that what he's doing? He wouldn't do that. I never viewed DeSantis as that. But we will know a lot after the primary. After the if DeSantis, I think DeSantis might decide not to run still, because he hasn't officially announced. We all know he's really running, but he's kind of getting the benefit of running for president and then having the qualification as I didn't announce yet. So he can pull out. I mean, he can pull out, like, before you reach climax, you can pull out and say, hey, I was never going to run. I just love my country, or whatever he's going to say. So I still think there's a chance of that. But if he does run officially, then he could come back and bring the party together after he doesn't win. Or even if he did win the primary for some weird way, he would still have to coalesce everybody together. We'll see how that's what will happen. If he loses the primary and doesn't coalesce the populist right or the right together, then we'll know what he is. I said earlier, thank you, Big BS. I said earlier that DeSantis, to me, and a lot of people didn't like when I said this, but I don't know what's the big deal. I said that DeSantis should wait until 2028, but let's forget about that. If he's going to run now, what he could do or what he could have done. What I would have done if I were DeSantis, just with his mindset. I mean, I love MAGA, so I would embrace MAGA. But let's just hypothetically, I was in DeSantis's position, and he's obviously not MAGA friendly. Like, he doesn't say MAGA. He doesn't really address the populist right. He doesn't address Trump supporters. Forget about Trump. So he's not MAGA friendly. Steve Bannon had a Getter post when he said, DeSantis, his timing is off. He said exactly basically what I said in another live. Steve Bannon was like, DeSantis's timing is off, and you know why? Because he's not MAGA. He doesn't have his pulse on the populist right. You can say whatever you want about somebody like Rush Limbaugh. He's establishment as it gets, based establishment to me, almost kind of like a Ted Cruz, but he had his pulse on MAGA. He was MAGA friendly, had his pulse on MAGA. DeSantis doesn't have that. So what I said is the most appealing things about DeSantis is actually somewhat libertarian. I know he's not a libertarian, but this isn't about a purity test. This is about what lane am I in? If DeSantis wanted to run against Trump in 2024, what he could have done is say, I'm running as a Republican, and I'm appealing, what I am fighting for is liberty. And Trump supporters, I'm fighting for liberty. Come join me. Instead of he's just being coy and attacking Trump, he could have said that. And just like Vivek Ramaswamy, he's like, he doesn't really like go after Trump in any type of way. And DeSantis shouldn't, DeSantis shouldn't go after Trump with the little pot shots. It's fine if he wants to, but what he really should say is, I got no beef with Trump. I know Trump's calling me names, whatever. I got no beef with him. My fight is for liberty. Kind of copying off of comic Dave Smith, but I'm a Republican that leans towards liberty. You don't even label yourself as a libertarian, but go that route. And then the pandemic is where he was better than Trump. And he said in this interview with what's his name, Piers Morgan, that I would have fired Fauci. Yeah, I think he has the right to say that. And obviously, Poppy can't even say something bad about Fauci. And DeSantis could say, here's what I'm about. I'm out fighting for liberty. And I want Trump supporters to come with me to fight for liberty, even if he's not a real libertarian. I once joke he's an authoritarian libertarian. He wants to force his libertarian-ish ideas on you. I think that would have been a much better play. You don't address Trump, because these consultants are all telling them, don't address Trump. Don't talk about him. And I think that's a good strategy, actually, because Trump is like, when it comes to name calling and getting in the dirt, Trump is like Tyson in his prime. You don't want to get in there like with Trump. You want to kind of back out and you want to get away. You don't want to get in there with him where he can do the body uppercut and all that kind of stuff. You can't beat him. Trump is out there talking about allegations of men, whatever, with DeSantis. Whether it's true or not, Trump does not play. So you can say, hey, Trump's going to call me names. I know that. I have no beef with Trump. I got no problems with Trump. Here's why I'm running. Trump supporters, so that's the part the consultants are getting wrong. They're saying don't bring up Trump, but they're not telling them you've got to address Trump supporters. You're talking to people with all these degrees and marketing and poli-sci and all that. They don't know what's really going on. You got to have somebody with down-to-earth stuff on your team. Let me know what y'all thinking about that. I'm just ranting off the top of my head. The Ray Infinity Show, what's good? Hey, brother. Christian Constitutionalist says, I continue to go back and forth between Trump and DeSantis. I truly like them both. I want to reiterate this. I like them both as well. Now, in different ways. I like DeSantis as the governor for Florida. He's one of the best governors we have. Love that. As far as DeSantis and the national scope, nah, I do not love that. Not what I've seen so far. I think Trump is the alpha dude. He's the face. He's the bull. I mean, he's going to be wrecking shop, and no one's perfect, but he has the right personality right now, better than DeSantis for the national view. So I like them both. I hate that we have to do this, but DeSantis made this choice. Ultimately, this is DeSantis. He didn't have to do all this national push. So now you have to get wrecked. I want to make it specific nationally, but some of this, I mean, we're in the food fight. So this might burn bridges. It's not me. I tried to warn DeSantis. I don't think you can blame Trump. Trump, after what happened in 2020, I said Trump should pass the mantle, but can I blame Trump after what the fortification of 2020? Can I blame Trump for not wanting to go again? I'm not going to vote for him, but I'm not against him, and I can't blame him for wanting to go back. And to me, I look at him as, I want to make sure YouTube doesn't have any problems, just in a hypothetical world. If there was somebody named Pappy Don, I might view them, even if they are or not, as an incumbent. So imagine if Trump was an incumbent. Would DeSantis run against him? No, of course not. So to me, Trump should have been viewed in a way as an incumbent. And you can run against an incumbent, but you've got to have a hell of a case. And DeSantis didn't do that work before going into it. I don't know. Not that complicated. I don't even know. Salute Cannon Hotep in the chat. YouTube royalty. What's good? Appreciate you stopping by. Go check out Cannon Hotep, man. I love his lives. His chat. You know what you can tell about a community is when you jump into the chat. And the chat is just all jokes and fun, man. I like that. Cannon Hotep, down with the Hoteps that do great work. Click on his name, please, and sub up to it. You won't be disappointed. Sub up to his channel. Much respect. So I got a lot of different topics going on. And, of course, the number one topic is the whole Pappy thing. But I'm going to step away from that for a second and talk about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is under fire, y'all. She's still under fire. They don't want her to run. She's struggling. She's on the struggle bus when my kids don't get right. My wife and I say, y'all on the struggle bus right now. Figure it out. We're going to have to help you get off that struggle bus. And it was a term that we used back in the day when I watched baseball. And it was like you had the yips. I was never a big baseball player, but I collect baseball cards. I was a fan of the Cleveland Indians in the 90s with Kenny Lofton, and Albert Bell was my favorite baseball player of all time. Jim Thome, it just wonderful stuff. But here's a clip from Kamala Harris, and gosh, she's an episode of Veep. We've talked about that. But it almost feels like you should be playing like Sesame Street, like as a drop underneath her speeches.
You guys are so good. You played hard. You played to the very last second. You made all us Bisons so, so proud. You showed the world who Bison are. You know, I was at Howard back in the day where we were just happy that there was a game. Much less getting to this place, right? And I see Bison literally all over the world, and we've been talking about you, this team. You make us so proud. So I know you may not be feeling great right now, okay? But know who you are. You are excellence.
I don't know what it is about her. She hasn't always been that bad. And once it goes quickly. And she's getting all this criticism, and she can't even make a simple speech to the college basketball team without looking fake and phony and contrived and patronizing. You look at the comments and you just see what people were saying about her. I mean, this is Democrats and Republicans just absolutely annihilating her. Gordon Johnson. Gordon Johnson, if you don't know, is a Tesla. I'm not going to get off track, but he's a diehard leftist. But it's just weird. It's like some of the people were saying, like, she sounds like she's drunk every time she speaks. I don't think that's it. She does sound like she's drunk. I don't think that's it, though. I think it's people were saying that they're surprised that she's an attorney unless she was an attorney. I'm shocked, too. She doesn't feel like that. I think the big thing with her is confidence. Chuck Knobloch was a second baseman, I believe, back in the day. And infamously, Chuck Knobloch, he was a very good player. Played for the Yankees. And for some reason, I don't know what happened. He had one play where he fielded a ground ball, and second base is right there next to first base. And he threw it, and he threw it away. It happens, even at second base to first base. And then for the rest of his career, he couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't throw the ball 10 feet. There was some type of psychological thing in his head. And I think that's what's happening with Kamala Harris. It's difficult. You know, she had to drop out of the Democratic primary early. And if you look at these articles, this is a good piece here by Conservative Brief. Let me show you this. They all coming for her. I mean, I don't know if it's Michelle Obama coming or what. I actually, in a way, hope Michelle Obama runs, because that's going to be a fun, at least for like streaming content, that's going to be pretty, this is going to be pretty fun. She's good. She's good at presenting herself, but you've got the whole Joan Rivers angle to it. You got a lot with Michelle Obama potentially running. Then you bring back Barack into it as the second gentleman or whatever, potentially. And then Michelle versus Trump or whoever. Ooh, there's going to be a lot of discussion if that were to happen. But let's look at some of these articles out here. Newsweek has an article titled, Kamala Harris is asked why dozens of Dems don't want her on the 2024 ticket. And that was asked by her. I think they're talking about the Angela Mitchell question. The New York Times published a report noting opinions of Harris have also sunk among major Democratic fundraisers, including former President Bill Clinton's Florida finance chairman John Morgan, who told the New York Times he can't think of one thing she's done except stay out the way. And she struggled to even do that. We're seeing more. I mean, there's more articles out here. Most Democrats aren't sold on Biden in the White House for 4 years either. Democrats want Biden to seek a second term down from 52%. So it's only at 37%. So now that gives Biden even more incentive to say, I've got somebody worse than me on the ticket. Let me choose somebody else. Like, how are you going to get away from a white man dumping the Indian Jamaican that is now African-American, and how you drop her? A report from the Washington Post said some top Democrats are concerned about the vice president's political prospects. These are all establishment rags, basically, and they're all going at her. Such concerns about Harris's political strength were repeated often by more than a dozen Democrat leaders in key states interviewed for this story. Harris's tenure has been underwhelming, they said, marked by struggles as a communicator and at times near invisibility. So they gave her the border crisis, and how else was she really supposed to play that? The establishment Democrats want the border to be open for whatever reason. There's many possible reasons. So you give her to solve the problem. How does she solve the problem when she knows nobody wants to solve the problem? So she went invisible, leaving many rank-and-file Democrats unpersuaded that she has the force, charisma, and skill to mount a winning presidential campaign. What I would tell Kamala is just to be, you get the gist of it. What I would tell Kamala is just be real. I would tell DeSantis the same thing. All them, even if you make a mistake, just be real. It does. You've got the cloak of a black woman. You can get, and I'm not even joking. That gives you a larger margin for error than anybody else. Go by your instincts. Stop overthinking things. Stop being fake. Stop being phony. Stop lying about you listening to Tupac in college. Why do you need to do that? Stop doing that stupid stuff and just be. I mean, I know a lot of her ideas are pretty much evil, but I think she needs to bring a more authentic flavor to the table. That's the basic thing that's happening to her, and that's the major point that's happening to her. I'm gonna go off topic and make a hard. This is gonna be a hard left turn. The New York Post is funny because it's kind of like a tabloid that also does real, I guess you could say, real news. It's not the greatest of real news, but I kind of like the New York Post. And here's one of the reasons why I like the New York Post. They're not afraid to have some fun sometimes. I think people got a little bit, their panties in a bunch over it. Like I said, this could be a hard left turn. And maybe hard is not the right term for this. This woman says she has a 55-inch party butt, and she uses it to smuggle booze into bars. Before we get into some other more serious topics, she's not an ugly woman. I mean, literally. I mean, if you like that body type, you might be into that. There's no diss there. I just thought it was funny that she said that she uses her party butt for an unusual reason. And maybe I should do a segment when I highlight the talents of women on the show. I didn't put this out there. She did. Is this what it means to be the butt of the joke? A huge hipped TikToker has gone viral for revealing the ultimate party trick, stowing bottles of alcohol between her butt cheeks. And we're not talking about like little bottles of alcohol. This woman shared her unique talent with her 100,000. If you have a fetish, TikTok has the answer for you. I mean, that app is, there's no surprise that app is the app. What's your fetish? You like toes? They got toes for you. You like women with asses so big that they hide fifths of vodkas in that back? They got it for you. You like women with small tops, big tops, large top, red hair, goth, it's literally whatever fetish you're in, no matter how weird or as long as it's not full prawn, they've got it. And even then, they work around the algo. She can fit in her 55-inch junk. Let me not talk about it. Let me show you what she did. This is her doing. So don't shoot the messenger. She's out here showing it.
All right, fair. Let's do it again. Okay, so let's measure here because I think this is the thickest part.
Okay.
Make sure we have the right end. So a little bit lower this time.
Now these big girls are good at this, aren't they? So what she does is, if you're just listening, she's got the good shape here, but they do a good job of making the waist look as small as possible to kind of put the package together, let's just say. Much respect. That's how she has 20. There's no accident why if you have 100,000 followers, it is not by accident.
I think this is the thickest part. Is it? Maybe like here. That's the thickest part. And it's 55 inches. 55 inches, okay. So I didn't lose weight, I just measured in the wrong spot. God damn it. At least I can still say I'm 55 inches, but I do want to lose weight, so dang. All right, fair. Let's do it again. Okay, so let's measure here.
I love TikTok. TikTok is so funny, man. I'm going to do a campaign. I know it's going to sound crazy. No, seriously, I should do this. I should do a campaign called Save TikTok. Because I honestly believe it. I'm on YouTube. YouTube's not corrupted. You want to tell me that YouTube's not corrupted by our government corrupted by CCP or CCP directly? I don't know. YouTube's corrupted. The talk is corrupted. The algorithm needs to be public. So I don't want to pick on TikTok, even though I know it goes direct to the CCP. How could you not love something like that? If you are into women that are shaped like that, you've got it right there. And then on top of that, I think TikTok can view your facial expression, eyes, and maybe other things that you might be doing while watching the video, and they will feed you. Oh, you like pear-shaped women? The next time I open TikTok, it's nothing gonna be about pear shape. I bet you that's gonna happen. You know how the algorithm works, man. They like, oh, you like those pear-shaped women that can hide alcohol in their ass crack? I'm gonna give you 100 of them. There's a lot of them out here. I was watching on TikTok. They have this thing going with like really tall women. And it's just, it's not a fetish. If it was, I'd be honest about it. I don't care either way. But it is just fascinating videos. And there's these women are like, they're like 6'9", 7 feet almost. Some of them wear a little bit of platform stuff, but it's just weird. Not weird, but seeing tall women having a duck under the door. I don't know if I've ever seen probably NBA, but these are women that actually, no, I was about to diss the NBA. Strike that. These are attractive women though. So it is kind of weird. I don't think I've ever in my life in person seen an attractive 6'9" woman before. I'm telling you, man, if you want, TikTok is so funny. I saw this TikTok today. I think it was last night. They had a little woman doing like a pole dance. and they were playing the Mario Brothers song, or music. And as she's climbing up the pole, they're playing the Mario Brothers, and then she slides down. They go, woo, the little Mario Brothers sound. That app is, I don't even know what to say, man. Is that app great, the greatest thing ever, or the worst thing ever? Is that app like the Antichrist itself? Because my theory on that. I'm not any religious expert, but my theory is the Antichrist would be something. I'm not an expert, so obviously correct me if I'm wrong. Just in my head, the Antichrist is not something, I'm being facetious here, but just in general, the Antichrist is not something that would be repulsive. What kind of sense would that make? It would be something that would attract you to it. And that's what I feel about TikTok. I'm not embarrassed to admit it. TikTok is crazy. I'm actually not on the app that much because I like more politics. So I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter all the time, way too much. I fully admit that. But when I get a break from Twitter, I'm on TikTok. Whatever you're into, they got you. You like women with thick legs? You like Chung Lee's? They got you some Chung Lee's. And it's not just for men. So women in the chat, I've seen a lot of... They got stuff for that. I'm actually looking at different exercise to work out, and they got all kinds of different, barbell routines and stuff. It's a lot of good stuff. TikTok is no different than the internet. There's good stuff on there, and there's bad stuff on there. There's a lot of good stuff you can get on there. So that's kind of my side. That's kind of my side project for the day. Let's go back to Trump for a second and the great Tucker Carlson. I want to give him credit before I give him some criticism. We did hear a follow-up on Tucker Carlson on the text that leaked, and I will get into that in a second. But Tucker is more good, obviously, than bad, and the text stuff is kind of whatever. So I don't think I ever played this clip this is from a few days ago. With Tucker Carlson. But I just want to talk about this because he's just got the pulse. He's got the pulse. Even though he's probably not MAGA either, he has the pulse on everything.
The dominant rumor on the internet over the weekend was that Donald Trump will soon be indicted, possibly even handcuffed on camera. Is that true? We can't say. We do know that Trump is the subject of a grand jury investigation in Manhattan. That's a city that voted against Donald Trump by almost 80% in the last presidential election. We also know that the grand jury was impaneled by a Soros-funded DA called Alvin Bragg, who looks and acts like a Tawana Brawley-era Al Sharpton. So we would assume, on the basis of that evidence, that it's pretty likely Trump does get charged with something at some point. But charged with what? That's the question that should matter. In a free country, laws are universal. Laws apply to all citizens equally, precisely because all citizens are considered equal. For generations, this was very obvious to American liberals. In fact, it was the basis of their worldview. That was back when liberals opposed Jim Crow, and we're not trying to reinstate it as something called equity. We are not liberals, but we retain the traditional American view, which is that laws must be applied equally, or else they're not laws at all. Justice must be blind, or else it is tyranny. So we spent the day with the help of a lawyer on our staff trying to assess the likely charges against Donald Trump. And here's what we found. 8 years ago, as he was running for president, Trump paid...
So this is a good breakdown here. I'm just going to do a little bit more of this breakdown and then keep it going. Ken and Hotep was talking about, look down at TikTok, came out the fog, 2 hours past. Oh, man, I've been there probably even more than 2 hours. TikTok is the only app, before I get back to Tucker, TikTok is the only app where you could see 1 second... woman shaking her ass. The next second, you'll see something on the most serious political topic in your life, then a comedian, then, that's my TikTok feed is all over the map at times, but then it will narrow in. The funny thing is, I think they know what you want to see at what time of the day, too. Because during the day, I usually don't want to see any asses shaking. I'm looking for clips and stuff like that. And at other times of the day, I might not like the ass shaking video, but I might let it finish. So TikTok knows, even if you don't comment or anything, it knows, okay, you let that ass shake finish, then in order to keep you on the app for 2 hours, I'll give you 10 seconds of just nothing but ass shaking, then I'll mix in some jokes or something like that. The app is just insane. So you're not the only one, Ken, and I'll speak for myself on the ass shaking.
A porn actress called Stormy Daniels $130,000.
Speaking of ass shaking, what happened? Trump allegedly, while Melania was pregnant, Stormy is attractive, but there's something about, for me at least, a prawn star that is a little, I don't know. Is it just me that, like, if Stormy let me say this. This is off topic, but if Stormy Daniels was a librarian or something like that, to me, it would feel more attractive. Remember Tiger Woods? Was it a Perkins or something like that? He just saw, I think that's what happened with Tiger Woods before he got, I forgot, what's her name? His wife came out with the golf club and hit his car. Was it the person he had the affair with, was she a Perkins waitress or something like that? Like, he went into a Denny's and was like, damn, you hot. He's Tiger Woods. But I kind of feel him on that. Like, wouldn't that be, why would you cheat on Melania with Stormy Daniels? Like a used, washed up, even at that time. I mean, she's attractive, but you can get anybody, Paps. I don't know. For me, it wouldn't be a thing. It'd be more attractive if she worked at McDonald's, or something. If she looked like that and worked at a library or McDonald's, or just any regular job or just anything, and less fake boobs and all that. But to each his own.
She and Trump had at one point had sex. Trump denied that. He still denies it. But in exchange for promising not to repeat that claim in public, Trump, through his then...
Does anybody believe that didn't happen? I don't believe it. It's alleged. I don't believe it didn't happen. I think he did some stuff.
Attorney Michael Cohen sent Stormy Daniels a check. Was that legal? Well, we can answer that question. Because there was a campaign in progress at the time, officials at the Federal Election Commission later examined the transaction between Trump and Stormy Daniels. Federal investigators concluded that nothing criminal had taken place. And in fact, settlements like this, whatever you think of them, are common, both among famous people, celebrities, and in corporate America. The result is usually known as an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement.
These guys, and that's enough for Tucker. I just like how he set it up before I go into a little bit of criticism of him. And he's absolutely right. They set aside these people with money, whether it's everybody in D.C. or whoever else, they set aside funds to handle the hush money after they go and get their jollies handled. They've got the monies ready. So there's other intricacies with it. But as you can see, Tucker maintains impartiality, which gives him credit. But here's the follow-up, and I don't have a good response on the follow-up to Tucker. Here's the headline. He was on some type of podcast, I believe it was. Tucker Carlson, enraged private text revealed. I love Trump. So I said it when it came out that these private, if you don't know, Tucker's private text came out, and they said that I think he said something to the effect of, I want to move on from Trump. Let me find it. I'll read it. Let me see. I think they have the text in here. Okay, so one of them says, I hate him passionately. This is Tucker Carlson. We are very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait. Let's hear what Tucker had to say in response to that stuff. In response to that stuff, here's what I believe this is what Tucker said. He was on WABC radio. He said, and I think this is in the text. And those were all grabbed completely illegitimately, in my opinion. In this court case, which I guess I'm not allowed to talk about, but I'm enraged that my private texts were pulled, Tucker Carlson said Tuesday. I wanted to see if I could find the actual interview. I don't have the interview here, so I'll just read the quotes. I have no problem with that. Yeah, I don't like that his private stuff had to be aired out. Nobody asked for that. Shouldn't have happened. It's all with this BS domino voting company system. But here's Tucker continuing on. However, Tucker Carlson sought to cast the president in a different light during the radio interview this week. Oh, let's see. I spent 4 years defending his policies, and I'm going to defend them again tonight, Carlson said. And actually, I'm pretty straightforward. I love Trump, like as a person. I think Trump is funny and insightful. I'm not really feeling those comments, but let's continue. And I said this to Trump when he called me, all wounded about those texts. So we found out that Trump called him. That was a moment in time where I was absolutely infuriated. So Tucker's backpedaling on this. Remember when they came out, I was like, I need to hear you defend this. And that's the gist of his, I think that's it there for it. So I can go away from that article. I don't like that, Tucker. I don't. So what happened. Tucker's like, I don't want these Don Dada problems. I don't want these problems. Tucker doesn't like Trump. This is my opinion. Tucker doesn't like Trump. He should have owned that he doesn't like Trump, or whatever that means. He should have explained what that means. Because you notice in that quote, he said, I like Trump personally. Notice the verbiage here. He said what did he say? He said, I like Trump as a person. That's what Tucker said. So what he could be saying there is, I don't like him as a politician, or or the persona that he has, or the personality he has as a person, I don't like for my politicians. So to me, it's no big deal. Tucker's great. I mean, I'll move on. This is probably too much time spent on this already. But I did say I wanted to hear what he said. He did say something, and I'm just going to wrap it up in saying that it's BS. And it comes down to, and Tucker's smart, he's like, I don't want these Don Dada problems. This is what it came down to. DeSantis doesn't have the pulse. So DeSantis jumped in. I think Tucker's going to run for president in 2028, in my opinion. But so Tucker's looking at it like, I can't get in. I'm not going to go against Trump. I don't want any beef with Trump. 2028, I can run against Kerry Lake or DeSantis and all that. And it's a little bit easier to go at them other than Trump kind of being an incumbent. Let me know what you think about Tucker's Carlson comment. I know they're not a big deal. I know a lot of people said, well, they're trying to divide. I think that's right. They are trying to take Tucker down. But we are where we are on it. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go to a Tim Pool comment here in a second. Steve Johnson, what's good, Zyke? Thanks for stopping by. Let's see here. The bad actor says, I'm cool with him admitting that he said it and that the fact at the time he was pissed off, that's normal behavior. I agree. He did it gracefully. I think he's being a little phony, but he did it gracefully. No beef. We keep it moving because he's too important. Nobody's perfect, but he's too important. Steve Johnson says, think back to the Speaker of the House situation. The left always touts dissent on the right as a lack of being in lockstep or monolithic, while that cultish behavior is precisely what is un-American. Great point. But I would have respected Tucker a little bit more. I think he did. He made the right move. He knows how Trump is. So what my response to you, Steve Johnson, is I agree with you absolutely. And I said that when the stuff came out. But what you're seeing is Tucker didn't really defend what you're saying, Steve. So Pappy Don, say you say something bad about Pappy Don, Grandpappy Don, and he calls you up, or however that happens. That's a warning. That call better go well, or the next day Tucker Carlson's going to stand for something else. I can't think of nicknames like he does. But he's going to have a name. He's going to be trialing names for your ass. And for whatever reason, when he does names, like Ron DeSanctimonious is sticking. You can say whatever. It has a lot of syllables, but it's sticking. And it kind of appropriate, isn't it? He's good at these name calling things, man. You don't want those problems. And I don't feel you. I don't blame you at all, Tucker, for not wanting those problems. I'm going to go to Tim Pool here in a second. Anybody knows I'm a big Tim Pool supporter, so you won't hear me doing any type of malicious kind of going after Tim Pool. But, one of the few areas that I do disagree with Tim very strongly on is election integrity. And he had a clip in his most recent upload today. Let me go grab that. He had an upload today, and he keeps bringing it up, and I just want to highlight on why I'll highlight on, even if I give him this point, and we're going to talk about election integrity. He had Troy Niels on yesterday, So let me go back to, this is his video here. Let me share it, share the screen. So the Tim Pool, he got a song coming out Friday. Check out for that. Gosh, I don't think I'll be able to do a live react to it. We'll see. I'll see if I can record a video to react to his new song. But about the 16-minute mark, here's where I started having problems with the Tim Pool take on election security. And give me the feedback. Maybe he's right.
Defeatist. Stop claiming these people have ballot harvesting. I watch people like Scott Pressler actually go out and win.
So here's the topic. The topic is, if you discuss, like I talk about it damn near every live, about the fortification of 2020, the fortification of Arizona, fortifying it for Katie Hobbs. I got a story on Rachel Dolezal and Katie Hobbs coming too, so stay for that. But when I talk about it, Tim's going to say that is demoralizing people.
Registering new voters, winning. Him talking about ballot harvesting and creating the strongest ballot harvesting operation because he sees it and he knows. And then you get these people who are sitting back being like, we can't win because they're cheating. And I'm like, stop. We are trying so.
So let me stop that there. Is that true? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that's true. What Tim is saying here is when we talk about the fortification of 2020, when we talk about any type of, there's nobody who believes that resident Brandon got 81 million tickets. I got tickets from Ken and Hotep. I stole that from you. I don't know if you made that up, Ken and Hotep, if he's still in the chat, because I'm trying to get around saying the word ballots and all that. So I like the word ticket. I really like that. But nobody believes he got 81 million tickets. There's no competent person that believes that that was a legit process there. And Brandon is my president. I'm not questioning any elections, YouTube. I think he's unquestionably the master king president. He's duly elected. He is the all-being Joe Brandon. But so Tim is saying, if you talk about the fortification, so they fortified it. They didn't R-word it. They didn't rig it. They fortified it. The big difference from the Time article. They fortified it. I'm not saying they rigged anything, YouTube. I'm saying that they fortified it. That's what the Time article told me. Not just politicians, businesses. It was a fascist fortification. If you talk about that, Tim is saying it demoralizes people and it doesn't bring them out to vote. Maybe he's right. Maybe that played a role in the midterms. I don't know. I don't think that's true. Do you feel like people are demoralized from that? I don't think so, but let's keep on going.
So desperately hard. It's like, imagine this. Imagine there's a burning building. You're standing outside of it. And you see someone like Scott Pressler spraying a fire hose into the building. And then you've got these other people standing outside the house being like, what's the point? The fire's too strong. Can't win anyway. And I'm like, dude, can you try to help?
But that's not my take, though. That's not, who's saying that, though? Who's saying that you can't win anyway to give up? I don't know who's saying that. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think out loud. Nobody's saying that. Now, I think what he's saying is bringing up the fortification might make people think, oh, well, I'm going to give up. And, okay, maybe there's some truth to that, but I'll keep on going.
Can you stop saying the fire has destroyed the house? There's nothing we can do about it. Can you figure out what caused the fire? What is making the fire worse? Because we can all see it. The procedural changes, the policy changes. We can see the Democrat arsonists who are destroying the house that we are trying to live in, and we are trying to counter it. I am. I don't understand why Georgia wasn't a powerful lesson for all of these Trump supporters. Whether it's true or not about 2020, a man stood outside and said he wouldn't vote because the Democrats cheated and it didn't matter anyway. And then the Democrats took the Senate. And then you get these Republicans being like, I just don't understand at all why in 2022 we lost the midterms.
Okay, so the midterms was a money laundering scheme, but there's other things that could have played into it. But let me tell you this, Tim, it's either it's true or it's not. I actually don't care. I do care, but the truth doesn't change whether you're demoralized or not. So if you're playing football, that's why sports are so important. I got my kids playing sports. They're going to be playing some type of competitive thing, sports, because you might go, I remember playing tennis. Tennis was actually my best sport back in the day. And I remember I went on a losing streak. I played first doubles at most of the time, or second doubles, and went on a losing streak, me and my partner. And you went on a 3-game losing streak. That is what happened. I don't care if you're demoralized by that. That is what happened. But, okay, if it demoralizes you, what do you want to do to make that not happen next time? So don't look at it, Tim, and say, oh, it demoralizes. I'll steal your argument. It demoralizes people. Okay, how do you undemoralize them? Because the election was fortified. What do you want me to say? I'm not going to lie about it just because your feelings feel hurt about it or you feel bad. What's going to happen? You still got to go through the process. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. You still got to go ahead, fill out your ticket. Nobody's saying not to do that. My solution is ultimately get the powers in your local area, state, counties, get these destructive counties that are ruining our country. There's like 5 counties, not states, counties. There's like 5 counties in our country that are ruining things and basically skewing things against the will of the people, in my opinion. These are 5 counties with large urban areas that they act as their own states. And if you as a state can't get a control over that, that's the lesson to be learned. So I'm not going to change my take just because somebody might. I don't think it does demoralize, but let's say it does. I ain't changing my take. It is what it is. Figure it out. I got my solution. I don't have all the answers. You in the chat, tell me, what's your answer? But Tim, again, brings up great discussion. Great discussion there. It's something that we need to talk about. And that's why it's good, because Tim's not MAGA. He's MAGA friendly. So he'll have a different kind of position on things, which I really like. So let's take, I'm going to take a look here just to make sure. We're in a delay here, if you don't know, with Donald Trump, that it looks like they let the jurors go home, and they probably will be back tomorrow for a potential indictment, but we don't know anything for sure. At the end of the day, we're at their whim. They're the ones controlling things. Let's get over to a more lighter topic, I think, and a little bit. This topic here is just so fitting on multiple, for like 3 different. I can think of 3 different reasons why this topic is funny, ironic. Maybe more than 3 reasons. Look who popped up again. Let's just say friend of show, OnlyFans star, Rachel Dolezal. And Rachel Dolezal seems to be banned on Twitter. I don't know if this is her real account or not, but the bio in this account for Rachel Dolezal says, the new account for Rachel Dolezal, since Twitter refuses to restore my access to my verified account since May 2020. Yeah, OnlyFans star and the infamous one, Rachel Dolezal is back in the news. What's she up to now? Today, Arizona resident governor Katie Hobbs signed the Crown Act. Oh, good. There's an executive order in Arizona right now. I know they're having a lot of different state issues going on. One of the biggest issues being the border and potential corruptions from the gangs that run things down there in our whole country, in a way that the SIA group allows to run our country. There's a lot going on. So what's the executive order? What's the big thing? One of the first things that resident Katie Hobbs is doing in Arizona? She's signing the Crown Act. Great job, Arizona. Everyone who has fought to get this passed. CROWN stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. Leftism is a effing disease. It's a mental illness. The world, the country is going wildfire right now. You've got Ron DeSantis, the speech where he talked about Pappy Don, it was actually a good speech about CBDC. So Ron DeSantis has his pulse on what the big things are going on in this world, and he talks about all these cultural issues, all that. What do they do in Arizona? Why did they have to fortify it against Kerry Lake? so you could have Katie Hobbs get in office and do an executive order about hair. This is not the Babylon Bee. This really happened. She signed an executive order. What's the executive order about? It's about somebody's hair. CROWN stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. And man, you can see, I'm going to go back to a second, but you can see why I'm going. And this whole thing here is being pushed by politically black women. I have had enough of you all. If you think that I'm going to stand by while you're doing some dumbass executive, not just Katie Hobbs doing it, you're celebrating it as if it's some type of accomplishment. Respecting natural hair. I don't care if you're bald. I don't care if you get a perm. I don't care if you let the naps flow. It doesn't matter to me. And there is no executive order that makes you look cute. It's just not, you can't do that. Either somebody likes it or they don't. They're doing executive orders about people's hair. And who's there to celebrate it? Who's there to celebrate the executive order for these politically black women? None other than the famous political black woman, Rachel Dolezal. That is so awesome. There's nothing better. I mean, it's the same thing that we see with biological men saying we, as our struggle for women and equality, equity for women. Wait, aren't you a biological man? Why are you using the word we? You look at some of the famous black women in history, you can, I don't know, just recently you can talk about Oprah. I mean, who are the other famous black women? Now, you can say Michelle Obama, whether she's a transformer or not. I mean, there's who are the other of our generation? We can go back historically, but of all the famous black women out there, does Lizzo count as a famous politically black woman? Yeah, I think she probably would. There's a lot. Kamala Harris. They turned Indian women into black women. I guess because she's an alpha, she's black now. I believe she was an alpha sorority. I guess that makes her black. So you think about all the famous black women, Simone Sanders. I'm trying to think of like not historically, just who's relevant right now as a black woman. Politically, Cori Bush is one of their favorite politically black women out there. The other famous politically black woman is Rachel Dolezal. Look at her. Look at her cheesing. Rachel Dolezal is so good. She was able to pull off blackface without the blackface. She is, I added Uncle Hotep. Cannon, get that back to Unc. Get it back to Hotep Jesus. She needs a Grifty's Lifetime Award. She's still doing it. We know she's not. She tricked me at first. I didn't know what she was. I seen lighter people than her be black. So she got me. But if you don't know, she's a white blonde woman. She's a white blonde woman. And she's still cosplaying as a black woman. And look who's celebrating with her. These politically black women. There's no group, and I'm going to talk about self-identification. I'm not even calling you politically black. If you identify, I'm not even not making any assumptions. If you are in this group and you identify with this group, you have some of the worst political takes that we have ever seen in our country. You have participated in some of the biggest buffoonery that we have ever seen in America. And part of it is you've got a white blonde. Her hair might not be blonde, but it's not brown really either. She's not a brunette. I don't know what she is, but I'll show you a little child picture. You've probably seen it already, but you've got her. This is not her natural hair. She's in costume right now, along with these politically black women cheesing with her over the Hair Act. That's why Babylon Bee should just go out of business. You can't make anything up worse than this. What are you going to do? This is real life. Somebody said, still LARPing as a black woman, I see. I had an interaction with friend of the show, Let's Be Frank. And Let's Be Frank was talking about it, and he mentioned Sean King. And I was like, it's too bad they didn't get together. They would have had some beautiful black babies. The babies probably would have been darker than Steph Curry. So why not? If you don't know, she's white as snow. I mean, which I have no problem with, but I have no problem with her being as white as snow. I do have a problem with her cosplaying as being black, though. And then black women on top of that accepting her in the group that they designated. Unbelievable stuff. And it did cause me to do this tweet. I said, I'm going full DEFCON, figuratively speaking, politically speaking, against conveniently politically black women. I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. That I am completely done with y'all. Y'all are beyond saving. It is nothing but ridicule at this point. Let me go on to another topic. Georgia Representative Lydia, I don't know how to pronounce that name, Glaze, claiming parents are too stupid to make decisions about their children's education as public school force woke propaganda on students. So public schools are pushing this woke stuff on to the students, and parents are saying, hey, if you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead and do that. Give us the money that you would have spent on them in the public school system, and we'll take them wherever the hell we want to take them out of your grasp. Here's a politically convenient, politically black woman, and when I say they have the worst takes that you've ever heard, they have the worst takes of any group out there, period. Like, I can't name a group with worse political takes than them.
I see access as a problem. I see parents being able to direct their child's education, and they are already in the lower 25 percentile, meaning a lot of those parents did not finish high school and could not finish their own education. I am extremely concerned that we would put money in their hands, and that entire piece of life in the hands of parents who are not qualified to make those decisions, and they don't have the money to put in the difference that their child would need to attend a private school if there were one in there already in their
Wow. Let's hear that one more time. This is a convenient, politically black woman saying, you are too stupid to be a parent.
I see access as a problem. I see parents being able to direct their child's education, and they are already in the lower 25 percentile, meaning a lot of those parents did not finish high school.
So you see, these politically black women are some of the most educated in the country, percentage-wise. Like when you look at the percentage of black people, they highly educated, they get highly indoctrinated. This is how it plays out. She said, you're too stupid to be you're too stupid to have the control of your child in your hands.
Able to direct their child's education, and they are already in the lower 25 percentile, meaning a lot of those parents did not finish high school and could not finish their own education. I am extremely concerned that we would put money in their hands, and that entire piece of life in the hands of parents.
When I say that they're authoritarian whack jobs, I mean they're authoritarian whack jobs. When I say authoritarian, it's not hyperbole. It's not like when these groups use the word fascism, they don't know what it means. This is the definition of authoritarianism. She said you're too stupid to decide where your child goes. And she's concerned about you having power over what school your children go to.
Finish high school and could not finish their own education. I am extremely concerned that we would put money in their hands, and that entire piece of life in the hands of parents.
Life she's talking about is their own children's education. She's concerned that she would put K through whatever she's thinking. She's at least thinking K through 12, so to 18 years old, that entire piece of life, I'm sure she would include that to post-college. So she's probably like, I'm very concerned that we would put the education decision in the hands of parents that I think are dumbasses. She just basically called anybody who said, I want to take their money, I think she said, you're stupid. And that entire piece of life, your child's life, I'm very concerned about a parent being able to make that decision.
I am extremely concerned that we would put money in their hands and that entire piece of life in the hands of parents who are not qualified to make those decisions, and they don't have the money to put in the.
She said you're not qualified to make a decision about your child's education. And do you really think she cares about whether you're qualified or not? They want authority over you.
Who are not qualified to make those decisions, and they don't have the money to put in the difference that their child would need to attend a private school. If there were one in there already in their region, I see access as a problem. I see parents being able to direct their child's education, and they are already in the lower 25 percentile minimum.
There's no surprise why Brandon thanked black women for his victory. Remember that? In his victory speech, he thanked black women, and he thanked African American supporters, and he thanked black women. He said that there are black women on my on my VP list. Let's go back to this, man. This relationship is deep, and I'm not talking about people personally I'm talking about these politically black
Most
women.
African Americans that I'm
And I'm talking about their political takes. This is another politically black woman right here. Nicole Hannah-Jones is one. She's the one that made up the phrase. I didn't make up politically black women. She did. Here's one here. Nicole Hannah-Jones is one. She's a little bit darker than Rachel Dolezal, Nicole Hannah-Jones. Here's Joy Reid talking about with Joe Biden. Do you have black women on your VP list?
that I've talked to on a daily basis are very concerned that, black women in particular have been the heartbeat of the Democratic Party for a long time, really shored you up in places like South.
Yeah, and I'm about ready to start calling them out. They've been the heartbeat of all this ridiculousness that's happening. So if you take her, Joy, she said that, not me. Joy Reid said that, not me. Joy Reid said that black women have been the heartbeat of the Democrat Party. How you feel about the Democrat Party right now? If you take what she said as truth, how you feeling about the Democrat Party? Jamel Hill, I am sick and tired of y'all. I'm going. I haven't even started yet.
Most African Americans that I've talked to on a daily basis are very concerned that black women in particular have been the heartbeat of the Democratic Party for a long time.
So then they need to take the heartbeat of this blame then, based on Joy Reid. They've been the heartbeat of the Democratic Party, and all of this foolishness happening in our country right now is being run by the Democrat Party. The Republican Party is no different. I'm more with MAGA, which is a different type of thing. Some people always confuse, like I'm supporting the Republican Party. You won't find any quote or clip from me supporting the Republican Party. You will find me supporting MAGA. But if they are the heartbeat, then they need to take this blame.
That, black women in particular have been the heartbeat of the Democratic Party for a long time, really shored you up in places like South Carolina.
And I'm sorry,
black men.
I'm sorry, black man. I'm not having this anymore. That's why they go after black men. They think that they can go attack, politically black men. I mean, if you're already out of that cabal, all that cult type stuff, you're not black to them. You're not politically. I'm not politically black to them. So, if you're politically black, because you've seen Uncle Luke brought up like, hey, I don't know why we rocking with the Democrats like that. The politically black women swarmed on him. Jamel Hill, Joy Reid. Y'all need to handle your business, politically black men. You don't have to vote Republican, stay Democrat if you want, but you getting bitched around by women with these takes are cringe beyond belief. They want Joe Biden to pick a black VP as if that means something. And then on top of that, they pick a Jamaican. I have no problem with Jamaican. My parents are Jamaican. They pick a Jamaican Indian woman and say she's the African American. Y'all are so off politically. It's unbelievable how bad you are.
To naming a black woman as your vice presidential running mate.
I am not committed to naming any but the people I've named, and among them there are 4 black women. So that decision is underway right now. And by the way, black women have supported me my entire career. You all act like all of a sudden there was an epiphany in South Carolina.
You proud of that? Hey, politically black women, politically black men, they've supported this dude their whole life? You do know that we've pretty much confirmed that the diary from Ashley is legit, where, you know, the one where she talks about taking showers that were probably inappropriate with him. Politically black women, where are you at? I talk about MAGA openly. I can tell you why I support MAGA. Tell me why you support this MFer.
Where the fuck are the Joe Biden supporters? I can tell y'all why I support Trump. Tell me why y'all support this motherfucker.
Where you at? With that silly grin on your face.
You all act like all of a sudden there was an epiphany in South Carolina. I have had over a 96%, 94% rating in the state with the 8th largest black community in the United States of America, Delaware. And so they're the ones, as that old saying goes, that brought me to the dance.
These politically black women are so stupid, they voted for a Dixiecrat. A Dixiecrat that called black children roaches. That's how far gone they are. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to point out how stupid you are and to ridicule you. You're beyond saving.
I have been loyal. They have been loyal to me. And so it is important that my administration...
Why have you been loyal to him, politically black women? Help me out. I didn't say you had to vote for Trump. I want you to answer this question. Why are you loyal to him?
And I promise you, will look like America, both as from vice president to Supreme Court to cabinet positions to every major position in the White House. It's going to look like America. It's critically important that be the case. I can guarantee you that.
Have you narrowed down your choices?
Well, I'll tell you what's happening.
Remember that he said he's going to pick a black woman, just completely discrediting her credentials. I'm going to pick a black woman for Supreme Court justice, which obviously did come to fruition with Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden was in Philadelphia just a few hours ago, front and center in the debate, the Supreme Court vacancy. Biden spoke at the National Constitution Center. He repeated his vow that if given the chance, he would nominate a black woman to the high court, but said he will not release a list of nominees to avoid controversy. Biden praised late Justice Ginsburg and appealed to Senate Republicans to follow their conscience.
Don't go there. Uphold your constitutional duty, your conscience. Let the people speak. Cool the flames that have been engulfing our country. We can't keep rewriting history, scrambling norms, ignoring our cherished system of checks and balances.
Biden will campaign in Wisconsin tomorrow.
This is a recurring theme with Brandon in his speech. His speech after he was announced that he won, his victory speech, I guess you could say. He thanked black people in general. And of course, that means, of course, black women, number one, and first and foremost, they're voting for him. Over 90% voted for him.
And to my campaign team and all the volunteers and all who gave so much of themselves to make this moment possible, I owe you. I owe you. I owe you everything. And to all those who supported us, I'm proud of the campaign we built and ran. I'm proud of the coalition we put together, the broadest and most diverse coalition in history. Democrats, Republicans, independents, progressives, moderates, conservatives, young, old, urban, suburban, rural, gay, straight, transgender, white, Latino, Asian, Native American. I mean it, especially those moments, and especially for those moments when this campaign was at its lowest ebb. The African-American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours. I said at the outset, I wanted to represent this campaign to represent.
Are you proud of that? And what that means is mostly women, but you all proud of that? Okay. I'll be over here. I'll be over here on a different side. Y'all crazy. I'm going to go on to another topic here in a second, but let me go to the chat. Appreciate you for stopping by. Big BS says at the same time pushing black trans. Wonder why. Yeah. Basically turning the black men into politically black women. Democrats are so good, aren't they? They're like, we got a politically black man problem. Like, remember when Fucci and Mariel, I was making her last name a mistake when I called her Browser. Now I'm going to do it on purpose because it's kind of funny. Mario Browser, so DC Mayor Mario Browser ran up on the black dude's porch and he chased the hell up out of there. Well, how did he chase him out of there? Not with any weapons or anything. He just had questions and statements, and they ran up off his porch. They're like, we had a problem with politically black men, so let's just turn them into politically black women. And I bet you the men who transform, the politically black men that transform from men into women, I bet you they voted like a 99.9% clip with whatever the hell the Democrats want. So no shock, no surprise, no questions there. We're going to get to a little bit of spice. Just if there was any confusion, kind of transitioning off the politically black women, y'all are the strongest base that supports this PDF file. And just to avoid any confusion, it's a PD file, allegedly. This is a picture I'm showing here of Brandon. It's not a PDF file, it's a PD file. And we don't have definitive proof of this. It's allegedly. But it's funny, no one's asked him about it. Isn't that funny? They're about to hem up Trump over, bending Stormy Daniels over the bed or whatever he did with her, basically, tangentially. But we found out we already knew this, but it's more breaking news. This is new news on top of it if you need more verification. So we don't know exactly 100%, but it's very, 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 very verified. It's very, very close there. I'll show you the verbiage. This is the same court that's going after Grandpappy in New York. U.S. District Court Special Master confirms Project Veritas has actually confirmed, they did confirm the Ashley diary, that it was legitimate. Here is the quote from it, and this is through the national file. Here's the quote in the paperwork. So this is, you see that there's some problems here because you're going to mention other people, but here it is. Project Veritas reached a Biden acquaintance who conferenced a person who identified herself as Biden. And we're talking about Ash. Ash stated that the belongings were hers. This is the diary. I don't know what's true. I'm just reporting the news. I'm not a reporter. I'm just reading the news. So they said Project Veritas had her. This is when James O'Keefe was there. Allegedly, some type of acquaintance conferenced her in. This person identified herself as Ash. And they haven't denied, to my knowledge, as Ash said, it's not hers. Ash said that the belongings were hers and asked that they be delivered to a friend. You tell me. This is an official court statement. Project Veritas going on. Project Veritas believed that the diary was authored by Ash. Shortly thereafter, a blog published the diary. It attributed its source to a whistleblower at another media organization that chose not to publish the diary. James O'Keefe has a very high standard of reporting. He said, I'm uncomfortable with this one. And I heard him in an interview say, I think 99% it was Ash's, but that little bit of doubt made me, it's too big of a story. And maybe he made a mistake with that because they're still trying to hem him up. They raided him over this. So we knew it was real when that happened, because I find that the documents are not protected by the qualified journalist privilege. So this is going on to some scary stuff. A special master found that the documents are not protected by the qualified journalist's privilege. So my big takeaway, they're obviously going after him. The publication of Ash's diary on a blog, These documents are not information gathered in a journalistic investigation. Really? Rather, they are documents related to a rival's publication of the story and the identity of the blog's whistleblower. These documents are not subject to the qualified journalist's privilege. So we're seeing a war against the media. I don't want to get too much into this, but the National File talked about who the special master is, conflicts of interest, same old stuff. But let's not forget, there's some stuff in that diary. And it's not even, she even put some more stuff in it that revealed some of the problems that she had. So it's a very serious thing that we are not addressing as a country. Nobody's even asked. I think one person asked about it, and that was some rando. It was some rando at a rally or something like that. Asked Brandon about it, and he just laughed and smiled. I played that video a while back, that took a lot of cojones. I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't do that because the risk is bigger than the reward. You know he's not going to answer, and then now, anybody do a wellness check on that, bruh? Seriously, how's he doing right now? Wouldn't be surprised if he's fired from his job or he's probably not in a good place to stand up. He stood up and was just shouting at Brandon during the speech and got hauled his ass got hauled out of there. My takeaway from the diary, I'm going to go through, did this last night I will retweet just to bookmark stuff. My takeaway from the diary here was somebody asked, I think this is facetious, but there are people who don't know, and I wanted to answer it seriously. So somebody asked, so the resident showered with his daughter. Did that, it was kind of like, did that really happen? Yeah, I mean, allegedly. We don't know, but yes, according to Ash, who, by the way, which I hope she's gotten better and recovered from. I don't know her full story, but she was self-admittedly a drug and sex addict. We all have our demons. I'm not trying to knock her for that, but it is interesting that she was a drug and sex addict like her half-brother Robert was a drug and sex addict. You got the same pappy. They got the same daddy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if anything's going on or what's going on. But she left her belongings somewhere, her diary in her case, in his case, the lapper, which I'm wondering, is it really a cry for help? How do you leave your lapper with all that stuff on it at some random shop? When you're Robert Brandon, you can pay anybody to go to the shop and get it, or you could do, to me, it came across as a cry for help. So Ash was in a halfway house, and that's where she left her diary. The quote from the diary, I remember having sex with friends. There's a quote from the diary. I remember having sex with friends at a young age. Showers with my dad, probably not appropriate. This was when she was preteen. What father allegedly is taking showers with their daughter? That's not normal. No one has ever even asked him about it. To my knowledge, not a one. And they're trying to haul away Donald Trump over some BS. James O'Keefe sent this on Telegram a while back. The lawyer for Ash is the same lawyer for Andrew Cuomo, who is the same lawyer who was married to the daughter of the U.S. attorney who signed all the secret warrants against Project Veritas. He'd said this in a hearing, to my knowledge, in front of Congress, I believe it was. Unbelievable.
Ashley Biden's attorney's statement about we should send to the SDNY is self-evident. There's also a poster in the room. You can see the 4 photos there. We find this extraordinary, that Roberta Kaplan is the same attorney for Ashley Biden. She's also the same attorney for former Governor Andrew Cuomo. And she represents the woman married to the son of the U.S. attorney who signed all the secret warrants against me. So those are the facts. Those are pretty self-evident facts, and I don't wish to opine beyond the facts.
That's unbelievable. This is every American needs to know what not only y'all have gone through, but to see these facts.
Ashley.
And we know that applies to everyone. I guess we know why they call him Dark Brandon now. Memesters had some things to say. Disney, honey, I groomed the kids. This is the type of dude we're talking about. Also in that diary, allegedly, Ash said that she was afraid to take showers. Why? I don't know. Somebody go ask her. Somebody said, well, Ash is stumping for, Brandon now. Okay, what does that have to do? You can still ask the questions. They're trying to say that, oh, they're good, nothing happened. In the diary, I was so afraid of him coming in the shower with me that I've waited until late at night to take a shower. Somebody figure out and help me out what's going on here. The FBI is more likely to protect than to do any type of serious investigation, in my opinion. If we want to talk about crimes, let's talk about crimes. I'm good with it. Let's just go there. If you want to hem up Trump, I'm good with it. Let's hem everybody up, starting with Dark Brandon. I found this interesting. I found this really interesting. I'm not alleging anything with this, but this is on Kobe Bryant. Just random out of the blue, some dude on Twitter had this clip, said this is really interesting. Kobe Bryant was suing Big Pharma, and the first court date was set for 3 days after his death. So what he meant to say was Kobe Bryant's lawyer was suing Big Pharma. No allegations, just things that make you go,
Now let's get into the pharmaceutical connection. John Kapoor, the big investor of high-tech pharmaceuticals and executive of Insys Therapeutic Corporation, is now serving 66 months in prison for lacing his Black Mamba Hyper-Rush energy pills with opioids. Kobe Bryant was in the process of suing the company for brand infringement. Now with this case, we have Insys Therapeutics, an Acorn pharmaceutical company which owns high-tech pharmaceuticals. Kobe Bryant was scheduled to go to court on January 29th, 2020 to expose these companies, but he died on January 26th. What is so strange about this? Other than the fact that Kobe died, I discovered that Jeff Steibel owns high shares and stocks in all three of these pharmaceutical companies. Teva Pharmaceuticals and Novartis were involved in the largest cartel case in history involving price fixing of their drugs. This was so huge it involved 44 states. Did you even hear about this? Apotex is a Canadian pharmaceutical company created by Barry Sherman, a member of the Jewish Congress in Canada. Barry Sherman and his wife were involved in a honeypot scandal of sending a woman to Teva Pharmaceuticals in Israel to seduce a high-ranking executive to get him to extract information about the patent for Azilect.
Crazy stuff. I don't know. No allegations, just interesting.
The 65th Grammy Awards is sponsored by Pfizer.
Let me know what you think about that one. I have no other comment. I have not independently confirmed. So moving along, my daughter's scholarship application, could they make their agenda more obvious? What could you be talking about? We're talking about higher education. This is the same process that politically black women, they revere so highly. They got the PhDs, they got the undergrad degrees. They feel like that's a gateway into power. And so what do you mean? What's going on with the college? What's wrong with the college scholarship application? Oh, what's on it? Oh, it asks what your sexual identity is. Okay, well, why would anybody need to know your sexual identity for anything? Like on an official document. We've got documents where you have to fill out your sexual, what is a sexual identity? I like big asses, but I don't like them too big. Do you have one for that? Like I like big asses, but the problem with the big ass is that a lot of times it's just a fat ass that tries to make their waist look small. Those aren't the asses I like. I like a proportionately big ass. Like when I go to the store, I like my grapes firm. I don't like them like wobbly and juicy. Do you have a sexual identification for that? Do we need to get more graphic? Why are these the only sexual identifications? There's a lot of different proclivities that all kinds of people have. So I'm filling this out on a form. I'm going to put other. There are certain positions or certain types. Why would I have to put my sexual identity on any type of official form for anything? Oh, okay, but if we are going to do that, let's take a look. LGBTQ, so they say, okay, do you have a banana and like other bananas? Check the box. Check this box if you have a taco and you like to eat tacos. What if I have a banana and I like to eat tacos? Do I have an identity? Hypothetically, allegedly. What kind of madness are we a part of where this is just normal? Somebody speak up. People are so afraid to speak up against how ridiculous this kind of stuff is. It's not illegal. You can do it if you want, and I can speak out and say you're an idiot. My sexual identity. So I fill out this scholarship and I have my sexual identity. Did I used to have a banana and now I have a taco? Am I pre-taco transition? Did I have a taco? Then I went and added a banana. I took skin off my forearm to make it a banana. That's literally what they're asking. It's just put in a nice package. It sounds a little bit different when you actually say what it is, doesn't it? What they're really saying is, do you have Titus that you want to delete us? Or have you had your Titus delete us? If not, here's a phone number. Somebody will yeet them for you. Do you have a banana that you want us to delete us? I'm sure she'll yeet the banana too if she wants you to. That's what the sexual identity is. So the options are LGBT. Okay, but what about the TI, QA, II plus and all the other stuff? That sounds bigoted to me. Or are you LGBT ally? What? So I'm filling out this thing and they're saying, what is your sexual identity? So I guess they're kind of going the pronouns route, or do you identify as something like that? What do you identify as? Do you identify as an ally? So obviously if you don't check that, then you might not be an ally, then you're a bigot. Do you have a chance at the scholarship? It's a very passive-aggressive form of coercion into this club. Why? I thought if they were going this identity route, they would say, do you identify as a male, he, zim, zers, or do you identify as a cat or a dog or whatever? I saw this TikTok where this person, I don't know what's a joke or not anymore, this person identified as the guy with the funny mustache. It was hilarious, but they were deadpan, like Bob Hope. I don't know if it was true or not. I thought that's what they would want. Nope. LGBT or wait, they messed it up. So it's LGBT and then it says LBGT. Ally, other, prefer not to answer. I would have to put other, then I would have to put down all the little intricacies of your sex life, I guess. What, do you like redheads? Do they move you? I like redheads. What about that? Is that one? That's where we're at. So this person, put it out there like, damn, this is getting crazy out here. Then they have ethnicity. Then they have, then they have female underneath that. So sexual identity really does mean position preference, I guess, at this point. I mean, if you like missionary, you probably wouldn't get the scholarship. It's kind of boring, right, for them? You have to be a little bit more wild than that. And don't blame me if this is TMI. They're the one asking the question. This is a general scholarship app that isn't tied to a particular school to give clarification. I guess they just wanted to see, is there a scholarship for those who like doggy and those who don't? Maybe you don't get one. I don't know. They list the outliers as though they were the norms. Yeah. So, a social justice warrior strategy. Marginalize the normal, normalize the margin. I've never heard that. That's on point right there. I like little stuff like that that puts it all in perspective. This person said, what you really see there is good guy. Are you good guy friendly? Other, parentheses, bad guy. And we might need to keep your name allegedly. You know, we're taking data. That's the power of these apps. We might need to take that name just in case that social credit score comes out. You have filled out other. You filled out other on that scholarship application, so we'll factor that in. The cognitive dissonance kind of kicks in. People said that can't be real. He's like, yeah, it is real. I took a picture. I can't confirm. I believe it. Let me know what you think on that. If you got kids or if you're filling out a college application, I guess you got to decide, do you have a foot fetish or not? And do you want to disclose it? Does that make you an ally or not? What does LGBTQ ally mean? Does that mean that you will have sex only with a Democrat? Because you can't be an LGBTQ ally and have sex with like MAGA, right? It doesn't matter. Republicans, who cares? Nobody cares about Republicans. Republicans are old school. Nobody cares about Republicans. You can go have sex with a Republican. I think what it means is, I know what LGBTQ ally means. It means that you will only have sex with a Democrat. That's what it means. And now it all makes sense. I'll just go on the record. I have a website called middlemaga.com. And I'll go on the record, I do not discriminate. I am happily married. I'm just giving you a hypothetical. I do not discriminate. Moving along. People are crazy, man. I don't know how people can see stuff like this and not say anything. Okay? Go ahead. Go ahead and do you, boo-boo. If you're going to stand by and watch coercion, the walls close in on you, go ahead and do you. I'll go into the chat. I got a new little way of kind of clipping my stories and stuff. So I got stories for days. So I can go on for days. And maybe I'll clip them up because I won't be able to do lives Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday probably. So you'll see some clips replayed. Steve Johnson said, soft taco or hard shell? No. See, how detailed did we get? That's once you go down the rabbit hole, I'm being dead serious. Once you go down the rabbit hole of identity, it doesn't stop. Do you want hard shell or soft shell? I mean, for me, I like the hard shell, but to each his own. There's no right or wrong answer. Well, to them there is, but do you like the hard shell or soft shell? You're stupid, man. Oh, man. This is a fair question. Fair question. I think it's fair. Oh man, you know, I was chatting with. It really bothers me. Some people on the not a lot. I would say out of 100 comments, I get 5 or less that accuse me of being hateful towards any group, and I'm very sensitive to that because I've got people from all different groups that watch the channel. I would never disrespect them just because of their identity. But I was chatting with somebody because we did the video with Carlos. Shout out to Carlos, friend of the show, Patriots of the American Republic. And some people, maybe a little bit more in response to that video than others, because we're talking about homosexuality and it as being a sin if you believe in the Word of God and the Bible. And here's my take on that is, I was actually bringing that up. Well, no, I would like to bring that up. Actually, in a way to make us all the same. And what made me think about it is Steve Johnson was talking about tacos. If you say, for example, not me, of course, allegedly, hypothetically, some random person goes on Pornhub and they look at a taco versus taco type of Pornhub video. That means it's woman on woman type video. For me, I'm not an expert in the Word of God, so please never purport it to be that. But to me, that is equal to homosexuality as a sin. So I would say we're all sinners, and I don't like saying homosexuality as a sin being targeted at people who are homosexual. No, it's bigger than that. You go on Pornhub and you watch a person with a taco eating a taco, It's the same sin. We're all sinners. We're all in the same boat, if you believe that. I'm still going through my journey. Steve Johnson, new member. Thank you, sir. Good friend of the show, been coming through. Great comments. I appreciate you. I'm going to go probably for 5 more minutes. Maybe I'll do one more topic. But, I mean, ultimately, that was the goal of the channel. Still is. I don't always live up to the goal of the channel, but the goal of the channel is just to really show how we're more the same, not different. I'll do this as the last topic. This is not I try to end on a happy note. So this isn't exactly a happy note topic, but it is interesting. It does go with the politically black. Here we go again, another politically black woman. And this time we're going to Letitia James. They have the worst takes possible, and here we go. New York AG appealing ruling that prevented Democratic governor from throwing Americans into quarantine camps for indefinite periods without review. If you don't think this is real, if you think I am stupid, if you think I'm making stuff up, that's what my wife thinks when I talk to her about this stuff. She's not red-pilled at all. So she's like, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way. I'll bring this up to her. So there's no way they're trying to throw people into quarantine camps, potentially. Not like they've actively given the order, but they're giving the opportunity to give that order. She'd be like, there's no way. You've gone way off. You've gone straight off the deep end and there's no water in the pool. You jumped off the diving board and there's no water in the pool. Okay. You just haven't been paying attention is what's really happening. And I'll show you. I've already done a video on it. What they're talking about is they're reliving this. I'm going to show you what they're trying to bring right back. In New York, I did a video about this back in about May. And here's a little clip from this video. And they're really about this. I'm going to play just a little bit clip of this video. Then I'm going to go back to what's happening to show you. I first want to show you this is real. And I'm going to go back to this video right now.
I'm not saying we're not in a very important stage. I'm not saying anything bad about the pandemic, like it's not real. What I'm saying is it's been 2+ years. If anything needs to be done, it can be done through law. To my knowledge, in 2+ years, we have not seen one piece of legislation in any state or federal level on the pandemic.
And let me fast forward to what's going on in New York. There was this New York concentration camp bill that came out, and then it didn't pass, but they didn't give up. Here we go. I'm having lag issues, so I'm going to bring it up. So this bill, this bill had been coming up long before the pandemic. For whatever reason, like they had it in their back pocket, waiting for the right opportunity to pull it out. And it came out before the pandemic, and it got shot down. The bill didn't pass. What's happening is these people don't want to put their names on these bills. So let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up. Shoot, it's not coming up. I'm going to go to YouTube. And I'm going to pull up this full video. And the video is entitled, if you go to the channel, I'm actually going back to the channel to get it myself because it's buffering here. New York forced quarantine order can remove anyone from their home. That's the name of the video. And here we go. Let me bring it back. And then we'll get back to what's happening with Letitia James. And hopefully this one will play. I'm having better luck through YouTube, but looks like I'm lagging right now. What's going on? Oh, got the wrong, that's the YouTube studio link. Okay, here we go.
Hi. What is good, Osiris here, stuck in the middle. I don't know if people might remember, I talked about this late last year. There was this New York bill that I labeled as a concentration camp bill. Now, keep in mind, I don't know why this is so difficult, but some people don't understand the difference. A concentration camp is not the same as a death camp. What we're saying is, or what I'm saying is, the bill allows the government to concentrate people against their will. That's all it means.
That's all the 15-minute city is, by the way, is a concentration camp. You're concentrating people into a small area.
Now, those can turn into death camps, but that's not what I'm alleging here. Those are two separate things. It looks like they pulled it off. Let me start off with the bill, because I only did one video on it, didn't talk about it that much. This bill in New York, on January 5th, they voted on the bill. It did not pass. But if it would have passed, I'm going to show you how they did get it done in a different way.
Now, that bill was not new to the pandemic. That was the bill. I forgot what year. It's been going back to like 2008 or 10 or so. Every year they bring up this bill that would allow the governor to pull anybody for any reason into basically a concentrated area.
If passed into law, it would have granted permissions to remove and detain cases, contacts, carriers, or anyone suspected. Very general. And I did read through this bill last year, and this is accurate from what I read. Anyone suspected, this is like Shanghai, suspected of presenting a significant threat to public health. In New York, racism is a public health concern. This is very general stuff. This is a little bit more general than the regulation, I think, through the public health department, but this is serious stuff. And New York is like our capital. I mean, it's a big state, but I think New York is like is the real capital of the country. And remove people from public life on an indefinite basis. Bill A, if you don't believe me, Google it. This is a bill that did not pass. Bill A, as in Apple, 416. Presents a serious risk to the basic liberties of all Americans in the state of New York. And I would say,
and I'm going to go forward to give you a little bit more details. Okay, here's the clip I got from this reporter on YouTube. Let's start here.
More emergency executive powers in 2020.
So the bill didn't pass, so they're trying to do it through executive order.
I'll get to that more, but there are people who are bringing attention to this. Support those people. Allison Royal TV on Rumble. Follow me on Twitter. You'll be able to find this thread. And then also a lawyer, Bobby Ann Cox. Let's see what Bobby Ann has to say. If you don't take, I'm just some dude in my basement. Don't take my word for it. Maybe she's wrong too, but at least I'm going to give you a couple other opinions.
My understanding of this bill is that they can force you into complying with quarantine regulations if you have any communicable disease. It's very vague. Can you walk me through it?
Sure. So I want to make clear that it's actually not a proposed law. So it's not a bill.
That's why the Freedom Convoy was in Canada with the truckers. The People Convoy was in the United States. And the only goal that I'm aware of for the People's Convoy, which is still going on right now, to no coverage, that should be a red flag that no one's covering this. They're not in D.C. anymore, I don't think. They blocked them out of D.C. No coverage at all from major media. Their only goal was to stop executive orders. This isn't a bill in New York. That's what Bobby Ann Cox is saying. Well, whoa, hold up. It's not a bill. Nobody voted on it. It's through the public health department. And what that is a cover for the governor. If the governor said, nah, I'm not listening to the public health, then the public health department reports to the governor. They're not a separate branch of government. They're in the executive branch, no different than the CDC.
It is a regulation, which means that it was passed through an agency. And in this case, that's the Department of Health. So that's part of the problem, because the premise of the lawsuit is that an agency, in this case, the Department of Health here in New York State, doesn't have the power to make a regulation like this.
So they're playing games. We are seeing it at the federal level also. We should be concerned watching this in New York. Any citizen should be concerned. The executive branch, Governor Hochul, is playing games, bypassing the legislative branch under the guise of emergency powers. What emergency are we in? I'm not saying that we shouldn't be on alert, be safe, listen to your doctor. Of course, all that. We're not in emergency, though. This is still under pandemic emergency. It's what she's claiming, the governor's claiming. So she said, I'm going to do it because the judicial branch is the only thing that really can check her at this point. It takes money. So this lawyer Bobby Ann Cox is suing. She needs donations, money. That's a call to action. I don't know her personally, but on this level, we align. So I would consider donating to her or whatever, but they have to fund stuff like this. It takes money and then it takes time. But the judicial branch is the last branch of savior in many places, and it's no accident that they're attacking. They're going out to the homes of the Supreme Court justices on the leaked opinion on abortion, going against Roe v. Wade, leaving it up to the states. What it's really about is attacking the judicial branch, and they don't want power with the states. So if they attack the judicial branch, then they've got it all. That's what packing the courts would be. Packing the courts would be, hey, let's get a bunch of other judges on there. Let's get 15 judges, and then we name them, and the liberal judges win, and then before you know it, you have no rights unless you bend the knee. Oh, and then if you don't bend the knee, you might have a contagious disease. Come on out of your home. Come here. Mortal Kombat. That's why I'm concerned about this. The regulation grants the New York Commissioner of Health the power to choose who gets quarantined. This could be in your home. What's the difference between that and a house arrest? Basically a house arrest or in a facility. The current commissioner, if I am wrong, I will be happy to say I was wrong. I read this whole regulation. I have a link right here to it. I might do a separate video to break it down. That'd be as boring as this video is. That one would be like watching paint dry. But okay, let me interrupt. Had to talk with my wife a little bit, so I just let that video go longer than I expected. But Steve Johnson, thank you. New member of the channel, $10 super chat, says, greatly appreciating the show. I look forward to the next one. Thanks, bro. Take care, man. If you're out, appreciate you. Thank you so much. And yeah, so if you got the gist of it there, New York basically can round you up. That's what they tried to do. Now let's go back to the Letitia James update. For that, let me go back to that. And so the update is that it didn't go through. So there's a 2022 court ruling that threw out the state regulation that we were just talking about, because it's obviously illegal. But Letitia James is appealing it to restore that power, to give it to Governor Kathy Hochul. I think what it shows is that they know something's coming. This is just my opinion. Why are they so big on this? New York is the capital of our country. In my opinion, it's the financial capital of the country. And they're going after Pappy, Grandpappy. And she wants to, if you see this through Blaze, reported through Blaze, they want to restore that power. So the AG wants to let the governor have complete authority, not through a legislative process in the state, just an executive order, give her the power to arbitrarily detain American citizens for indefinite periods and force them into quarantine camps. That's not a place where you want. A place that wants to do that is trying to do that, trying to fight to make that happen. That's not a place where you want to protest. That's for sure. Because they could eventually be more powerful than DC even. It's probably a place you want to move out of, to be honest. So this regulation, isolation, quarantine procedures, what I was talking about, and that's the gist of it. I just want to let you know they're still trying to fight it. They're still trying to make it happen. Broken Tradition stopping by. What's good? He said, I'm glad I moved from NY. I didn't know you used to live out there. Broken Traditions has moved out of there. I believe it's in the Georgia area. But yeah, you got to get out of there. You got to. I'm over in Colorado.
So I'm not in a much better place. But Colorado is actually a more liberty-oriented state. But I think you got the mail-in ballots. You've got the reasons that has been overridden, in my opinion. And I don't think that's organic. So, yep, thanks for stopping by. That's all I had for today. Be working on more videos. We are still in a holding pattern, waiting. And that's my biggest takeaway is that I don't like being in a defensive position. All Trump has said he's going to do is go in and turn himself in. And I think that there should be a more, nothing aggressive, but there should be a more, if this happens, this is what's going to happen. There's none of that. We haven't heard that from anyone. If this happens, I ain't going nowhere type of stuff. This is where we draw the line. This is where it ends. And that's what I wish we could hear. I don't blame people if you don't want to because there's serious consequences with that. But at some point, you have to draw the line. Otherwise, the walls will continue to close in. They won't stop from closing in, and you will be crushed. Like that scene from Star Wars when they got thrown into that trash compactor. That's what's happening to us. And at some point, you have to say, the walls are closing in, so what do I have to care? What am I trying to save? There's nothing I'm trying to save here. So don't be afraid. Have some courage. Be respectful. Do it in your own way, but you got to understand you are risking your profession and all that other stuff. But so make a calculated decision. But it's clearly time to speak up. And I shall do that. Hopefully everybody has a good rest of their Wednesday. I've had a good week so far. Enjoy doing the channel. I will be, looking at different ways to express myself through the channel as well. I like to see the people doing street reporting and stuff like that. Believe it or not, I used to dabble in that back in the day. It's been a long time. Will not be easy, but I'm going to leave you out with a speech. A little speech from Trump. It's about 3 minutes. Donald Trump was talking about the deep state. Donald Trump released a statement that said, dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy. And it's the energy I want. I'll tell you that. I want to see this type of energy. Let's hear Donald Trump, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all, and corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.